before we get there, so the way I did my preparation for the rest of this is as I do most things of this nature, which is I don't look at a list of players. I look at a NBA standings and I see all the teams and I go through in my mind each team and I say, okay, who from that team deserves to be mentioned in this part of this conversation. And the first name that I wrote down, because I looked at the top of the Eastern Conference standings from last year, the first name I wrote down was Jrue Holiday, because obviously he plays for the Boston Celtics. And I just wanted to give a little shout out to Jrue Holiday. We talked about his Hall of Fame candidacy briefly a couple episodes ago. Since then, I think it was Zach Harper co-wrote the Weekly Athletic piece that comes out, him and Shams. And I have a feeling the piece that pertained to Jrue was written by Harper. I think if I'm getting that wrong, I apologize. And I thought it was a really well-written piece, basically saying that Holiday, despite not having a lot of the typical accolades of Hall of Fame players, really kind of has a great case now, especially in light of the recent induction in April, or announced induction in April. I don't know if he's actually been inducted yet, of Michael Cooper. Michael Cooper, who won 5 championships with the Lakers. I don't think he ever made an all-star team, but he made 9 all-defense teams and 1 Defensive Player of the Year. And I don't want to say that Cooper's induction opened the door for Holiday, because I think, and everybody should go read the piece, because I think they make a compelling case regardless. But I did find it interesting, because to me and to you, I think we both agreed when we did that recording, Holiday kind of feels like a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
It's like
once you get to a second title and you're an important piece on it, and you had all defense accolades and
6 all defenses.
Yeah.
And so I was surprised to learn, and if you know this or you've looked it up, I'm going to ask you to abide by the honor system and say so. Do you know, on Basketball Reference, the Hall of Fame probability currently given to Jrue Holiday?
I don't know it off the top of my head. No.
Okay, so do you want to? So then take a guess.
I'll say it's.
Now keep in mind before you say anything, this metric weighs heavily on things like counting, like accumulating numbers over the course of time. All-star berths, certainly, of which Holiday only has, I think 2, along with 2 All-NBAs. I'll double check that. Men only have 1 All-NBA. And yeah,
I will say that I'll be optimistic and say that it has him at 75%.
0-time All-NBA. I misspoke. So that's again. So you
the All-Star teams that he's
2 All-Star, right? No All-NBA. So your guess was what?
75%.
You're a little off.
It's like 0, isn't it?
It is 1.7%.
Jeez.
If you would have asked me to guess, I would have guessed probably. It's tough for me to say because I'm doing this after the fact. I think I would have guessed 10 to 15%, maybe 20. But even that would have been wildly optimistic. So then I saw that number, and then I was like, huh. Who is there anybody else around him that has the same argument or a similar argument? Someone that is a low percentage, but you look at it and you're like, oh, they're going to make it. So I looked at the other active players, and there's a group of 19 players that have a 66% chance or higher. They're all getting in, no doubt about it. Although I'm sure people will quibble about Kevin Love, but he's an automatic Hall of Famer. And then and this is the way the Hall of Fame Index works. There's this gray area, which shows that this metric, whatever formula they use, I think works pretty well because there's not many people in this in-between zone. The one modern player in the in-between zone is DeMar DeRozan, 46% chance. He's going to get in because he's going to keep piling up points, and that's enough. Then there's a bunch of young guys. or actually two young guys, Doncic and Tatum. They're early in their career. Then we got John Wall at 33%. He's not going to get in, and that's around the percentage where you start to see some guys that it's just they don't quite have it. Gobert, Horford, Karl Anthony Towns, and then you get to 12% or lower. I'm just going to read off the names that go from 12% down to, I'll take it down to 1% because it's not a whole lot of names. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Mitchell, young. Derrick Rose is going to be a fascinating case. He'll ultimately get in. Trae Young is still young. Isaiah Thomas, not that Isaiah Thomas, the more recent one. Domantas Sabonis, middle of his career. He has some time. Devin Booker, young. DeAndre Jordan, not getting in. Bradley Beal, 2.2% chance. Chris Middleton, the guy who won one of those championships with Jrue Holiday. Andre Drummond, almost the exact same percentage chance as Jrue Holiday. Found interesting. And then with a 1.02% chance of getting into the Hall of Fame as of right now, Julius Randle.
I was waiting for it. If Jrue Holiday's got that low of a number, what's Julius Randle? Can I be honest with you?
Brunson's not far behind for anybody wondering. 0.77.
I don't know if anybody listening has the same reaction, because I love it when you do the basketball reference deep dive and when you go through the mathematical equating of something like this. And I hear this and I now doubt the stat and I now doubt the measurement, because Jrue Holiday is a Hall of Famer.
As opposed to all those people who are clearly not. Or
Isaiah Thomas is ahead of him.
So, and to be clear, all these younger guys, they will keep moving up the ranks, like Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell and Karl, even Towns. Towns will be interesting because Towns, you could tell me he might not make any more All-Star games. Anyway, yeah, is it a flawed metric, or is Jrue Holiday just one of those really, this is really why I wanted to do this. I think he's just really one of those unique NBA players who, when the old man on the lawn chair is like, oh, the numbers don't do it justice. You had to see him play. Like Dave DeBusschere. I always go back to this. Dave DeBusschere made a bunch of all-star teams, so it's not apples to apples, but the way he is discussed about as a no doubt there was a no doubt about it, top 50 for him. It was no doubt about it, top 75. There's no argument. And yet you look at him and you're like, Billy Cunningham is another guy of this nature who, was great for a period of time with the Sixers. So I think he's one of those guys, and he was just for the entirety of his career somewhere between the 18th to 25th best player in the league. But if you were needed a third guy or even a second guy occasionally to be out there in a last 5 minutes of a game 7, he was on the short list. And he's a really unique player. And I just wanted to have that little go through that. And I think that's what I take from it. You take something different from it.
I'm not trying to completely dismiss the stat.
It's pretty, if you look at who's in and who's not in, it's, I spent a lot of time looking at that I still spent a lot of time looking. I love that.
Clearly.
stuff.
Yes.
But
I still look at I feel like I'm in that scene from iRobot where Will Smith hates the machines, and it's because he had a traumatic experience with the robots that he got into a car accident where his car was drowning and another car was drowning with a little girl in it. And the robot calculated that he had a higher chance of survival. And so the robot went to save him. And so he was like, the human instinct would be to go save the little girl, not me. Sure. And the robot did math instead. And we can do math instead and try to quantify if Julius Randle and Jrue Holiday have quantified the same amount of contributions to the NBA and their qualifications for the Hall of Fame. Or we could use the human brain and watch all the playoff moments, all the contributions to winning, all of the championships.
not an impeccable playoff career, I should say, for Jrue Holiday. Like he's had some
statistically, but how many times has he been the guy in the crunch time of the finals guarding the most important player on the other team?
Well, twice, because he's only been to 2 finals. But no, I
how many more than Julius Randle is that?
Well, okay. Look, you're looking like you're pissing on Julius Randle here, who, by the way, might end up higher ranked than Jrue Holiday on this list that we're about to do.